Hello world! Today is the 7th day of Inktober. In today's video I'm gonna get a little bit real with you. I rambled on a bit and I didn't pay attention to how close to the microphone I was, so the audio quality is gonna be a little bit subpar in some parts because I'm bursting through the sound. I hope you can have some patience with that, and I'm sorry about it, but I'm not rambling for 10 minutes again. I hope you still enjoy. If you don't like rambly videos, you can turn on some music and shut off the sound and just enjoy the art. Today's prompt word it's actually a word that lies very close to my heart. Today's prompt is exhausted. And I'm gonna get a little bit real with you, guys and gals and non-binaries. I have 3 diseases that causes extreme fatigue and exhaustion. I have a disease called hypothyroidism. I am anemic. I've suffered chronic anemia since I was 13. And I also suffer from asthma. I spent a lot of years barely even being able to wake up. I walked through years as if they didn't happen. I had no energy to do anything, and I had to nap 3 to 4 times a day. It's taken me a lot of back and forth with the healthcare to get to the point where I can't even stay awake a whole day. And I used to be an artist trying to survive purely on my art. But I couldn't make it, partly because I never managed to build up a following enough that I could actually be commissioned enough. I had a few very, very, very generous and very supportive patrons who came back to me time after time after time to commission me more because they loved my work. But I just couldn't live on it. And I had this pressure from, everywhere. I'm lucky to live in a country where there is a social security network to help me find food. But I lived below the poverty line in my country, working as a cleaning lady on the side. But I still lived on the poverty line. I supported 2 people on money that's below the poverty line for 1 person. It was very rough. And I came to the point where I found a doctor who was willing to treat my anemia, and that gave me enough energy to go to school again. I have wanted to study since I quit senior high, but I never had the energy to. I barely managed senior high. I actually had to repeat a year because I was so sick all the time, and I had no energy. But there was nothing wrong with my grade. It was only and strictly an attendance thing. I just couldn't show up for class. I had no issue studying. I was a very good student. But I just couldn't show up for class. I had my teachers begging me to come to class because they missed me. I had a teacher in senior high, story time. He hated me. He absolutely loathed me as a person. We did not get along at all. No, we were totally rubbing each other the wrong way as people. But he loved me as a student. I was the most engaged student. I always had something interesting to say, and I responded to what he taught instantly. He never had to repeat anything to me, and he loved it. All my teachers, they loved me as a student, but not as a person. And he came to me, and he didn't understand. He really didn't understand that I was sick. He thought that I was just cutting class to go and goof off and do all the weird things that weird people like me do. But I was sick, and he didn't realize it. And he begged me, please come to class, please. I miss you in my class. I have no other student that responds to my teaching as you. You always have interesting questions. You always comment on things interestingly. You're always ready for class, because that's the thing. I studied a lot in my spare time because I didn't really have much else to do. That when I came to class, I already knew what the class was about. I would look at the curriculum and I would see, what are we gonna study this year? And I would study up on it so I wouldn't be as ill-prepared for the tests, because I couldn't attend every class and I didn't know which class I couldn't attend. So I needed to know in advance what was gonna be happening in each class. And all the teachers love that. Most people go to prep school for that. Prep school isn't really a thing in my country. It exists, but it's not a thing. So to Swedish teachers, that was probably a pretty interesting thing. They hadn't ever encountered that, and it's pretty nice if you're a prestigious person to have one of those A students who doesn't even need to be in your class to still perform that good or that well. And it was a very hard time for me, because when I was in school, my identity was studying. My identity was I was good at school. That was the one thing I was good at. I got A's. I got papers that the teachers would show each other with pride, and they would say, I taught that person. And I would get record high grades. I know I don't have a perfect accent, and I know my English is pretty poor if you compare it to a native person, but theoretically I would score the highest grade in my senior year in English class on the national tests. This is my brag point. This is my only real brag point, but I would score the highest on the national test in all of the region. I don't think I was the highest one in the country, but in the region. I had 2 questions that were answered not fully incorrectly. It's one of those half-point questions, so I would get half a point because I was half right. It's more or less a situation where you're supposed to use a certain word, but I used another word that's a synonym, and then you get half a point for that because you didn't use the word you were supposed to. It's a flaw of the educational system, and I'm sure it exists everywhere. But life after school, it's like I spent years not even existing. It wore me down so much I had to quit art because I just didn't have the energy. But then I found that doctor, and he started treating me for my anemia, and that gave me enough energy that with enough willpower I could power through an education in programming. And thanks to that education, I can now perform a profession that works with my physical abilities. There is nothing wrong with my brain. There's a lot of things wrong with me, but not with my brain. And as a developer, I can use my brain, but barely my body. The thing that gets me down every day is traveling to and from work. I don't know why, but that journey every day, it eats all of my spoons. Work takes let's say work takes 4 spoons. And traveling to and from work takes 8 spoons, one way. So it takes me 16 spoons just to go to and from work, but only 4 spoons to actually work. And that's the day I live every day. Now, you might think, if you're so exhausted, then how and why are you doing Inktober like this? Why are you posting a video every day? And the short answer is, Inktober is a challenge that powers me through the day. It's a challenge that I know will take a lot of resources, but it makes me focus my willpower to actually survive mentally. This is something that's helping me. It's aiding me in surviving. It makes me feel like I actually can do something. I feel a sense of accomplishment. And also, October is the month where all of the leaves starts changing color here. And the explosion of color really drives me. It fills me with this creational hunger and power that I normally don't have. And I just try to suck myself to that feeling. And that's why I do Inktober the way I do. Also, as you can notice, my Inktober pieces don't require a lot of work. Because to me, doing ink is the easy part. Now that sounds a bit conceited considering the skill level of my line work. But to me, it feels like the easy part. It feels like the part I got. It's the part where I feel at home. It doesn't feel like a lot of effort for me. Maybe it takes me 1 spoon to actually draw the Inktober piece. What needs more spoons is recording, doing this audio, editing the video, making sure the video is okay before I post it. I do that. And then upload it and share it everywhere I find suitable. I am very bad at self-marketing. I think a lot of us artists are. We just want to sit in our corner and draw and hope that people find our art and like it. I'm pretty sure I'm not alone in that. I hate self-marketing. I really do. I don't like posting, "Hey, look at me, come check me out." I really hate doing that. I don't want to self-market myself. That's why it's so important that if you like an artist, like, share, subscribe. It does so much for us because we don't want to share. We don't want to self-market, or I don't. So if you like my work and you want to see my progress, like, share, subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment. Because the YouTube algorithm, it does look at comments. It actually reads the comments in an AI way. So that's how you support me or your favorite artist. Even if it's just a "good job, I like this video." That comment counts. Thank you so much for watching and for listening to this ramble of mine. I hope to have the energy tomorrow to make another piece, and I hope I will be able to record it too and show it to you. So if you want to follow my Inktober journey, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I hope I will. TTY later!